This is PNC Roundtable.
Hello, this is Ric DeVore, Regional President for PNC Bank, and thank you for listening to PNC Roundtable. It's on this show that we tackle some of the region's tough issues with people who make a difference.
Now here's the PNC Roundtable.
Welcome in to the PNC Roundtable. I'm Paul W. Smith, usually with you mornings, 5:30 till 9 on WJR. Here with you all the time on WJR.com, along with Regional President Ric DeVore, our co-host of PNC Roundtable. And Ric, always a pleasure to see you, and always nice to be out and about at different venues like this one at the 2013 North American International Auto Show.
It's great to be here again. It's amazing how time flies. I just hope this year is not as expensive as last year for me. I bought a car last year, so
See, this show works, I'm telling you.
Donna needs a new car, so maybe I should.
Well, here you are. You've come to the right place. Yeah. We'll offer you a little guidance right after the show. I know
Absolutely.
Donna told me just what section to go into, and of course Bob Shuman, Vice Chairman of the 2013 North American International Auto Show and President of Shuman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Walled Lake, a third-generation dealer, gave you his business card already.
Absolutely.
Way to go, Robert.
Absolutely.
Right on the spot, I'm telling you. Once a car salesman, always a car salesman. That's the truth. I got stories to share with you another time about that. Mike Wall is here, too. He's a Director of Automotive Analysis at NAIAS Automotive. Mike, nice to see you again.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
We have a great show underway. These guys have worked very hard to have this. It's very important to our community. It's twice the effect of a Super Bowl, which only comes once in a while, or a World Series, or whatever. And it's every year. And we never, ever, ever, ever take it for granted. And Bob Shuman, you guys have worked so very hard. They don't even know you over there at Shuman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Wall. They go, who's the guy over there? Well, he's the owner. Oh, you've been so busy with this thing, and the show is underway and just fabulous. Give us some of the highlights and what's new this year.
You know, you wonder how could it be better than last year, yet here we are, and it is bigger. It's bigger, better, brighter. I hate to say it, new Corvette. Pretty exciting. New Maserati. I like that. How about Mercedes bringing their new E-Class and introducing, I was there for that press conference, 6 vehicles here in good old Detroit. We're at the top of the world right now.
We are at the top of the world, and the world is here. The world has been here for press days, then we have industry preview days, and then, of course, we had the charity preview, and following that, open to the public. It's just a great, great show for people to come to, and there is no question that there is a new vibrance, excitement, investment in this show. And Mike Wall, you're the guy who follows all the figures in analysis at IHS Automotive. Give us make us understand that this isn't just a feeling, that this is a very real exuberance.
Oh, it is, and it's well-founded. I mean, we're on a significant recovery path here in the U.S., and when you look at last year was almost the exhale year, coming off of the downturn. People looked around. It was a good year. It was a good show. This year is almost there's a confidence. There's a swagger. There's a little bit of an extra enthusiasm, rightfully so. I mean, amongst all of these, fine displays, there's some just excellent new vehicles, and the market itself is poised to recover even further this year. We're looking for vehicle sales somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 million units, light vehicle sales or better. I think there may be still upside potential to that. Last year we finished off at about 14.4 or 14.5. So again, strong recovery. Very strong recovery, and Regional President Ric DeVore of PNC, you see it in all aspects at PNC, and we try to nurture that here on the PNC Roundtable on a regular basis, and that's what's happening right now.
Absolutely, and manufacturing leading the way, and auto leading manufacturing leading the way, and in this recovery in the country. And we've gotten through the Sandy effects, which was about a third of Katrina maybe, and that's behind us, and just deal with this little cliff problem we have coming up here, and the ceiling. Post-cliff, now it's the ceiling.
We got cliffs, we got ceilings, we got a lot of stuff going on here. We don't want anything to derail what's happening now in the auto industry.
Well, as you know, obviously consumer confidence is what drives things, and I think we will get a resolution to that. Get that in our rearview mirror, in some parlance for cars there, and I think it's going to be off to the races after that.
We had sunshine when the World Press was here. That's a big deal because we've also had snowstorms when the World Press was here, and unfortunately that was a big deal because it became the lead of all their stories instead of the rest of what's going on. Now the lead of all their stories is the turnaround of Detroit, and frankly, how much better Cobo Center is. So what would you say, I'll ask you, Mr. Shuman, how critical were these Cobo improvements to the future of the North American International Auto Show in Detroit? And I know that you and many, many members of the DADA, the Detroit Auto Dealers Association, and the NAIAS were absolutely instrumental in pushing through these improvements.
Well, you know, we have a 5-year agreement now with Cobo to keep the show here. The new authority has done a fantastic job. Tom Connors with Cobo has done a tremendous job. Any little issues that pop up, they jump right on it. The atrium that we were in yesterday for the car and truck of the year, I happened to be there with Mayor Bing last week. That was the first time chance I had to see it. Oh my goodness, it's just beautiful with the glass ceiling, the glass wall. It's not done yet, but it looks awfully good right now, and I think we can all be proud.
Well, it is something to be proud of, and it does matter. The surroundings of where we are do matter, and this airiness and brightness, and frankly, clearly greater investment in the staging of these vehicles, it all pays off, and it all shows a turnaround and a renewed confidence, Mike Wall.
Yeah, all you have to do is go to some of these press unveilings. I mean, it's just the mass of people, the show that's put on. I mean, I think it was the Infinity display with the Cirque du Soleil performers, and it's just one example of just all of the showmanship that's involved with these shows, and they're spectacles. And more importantly, though, they're backed by some very fine vehicles. I mean, almost across the board, there are some just stunning new vehicles, concepts, and production vehicles out on the show today.
I agree, Rick.
No, it's really true. And, getting back to the physical plant here at Cobo, next year it'll be great when it's done. Paul, you may remember from last year, we're one of 3 banks that financed this expansion. And, you can't help when you drive up to see the Pontchartrain, finally some activities there. And it was kind of a thorn, if you will, sitting right there. And that's a great... Yeah, I think that's really a barometer of downtown right there, is somebody taking the Ponch and redoing it, and that's going to be great when that's finished as well.
That was so important because it was just the white elephant, sitting there for us to all look at and wonder about, and they've had their hands full. Hopefully they're fine. Now, what are we looking at, gentlemen? All of 3 of you weigh in on this one. The expectations right now, the economic impact expectations, what are we looking at so far? Bob, you start.
Well, these gentlemen deal with the bigger picture. I deal with what customer came through the door 2 seconds ago,
right,
and how can I sell them one more car today. I got a lot of cars on the lot. We were very bullish on this year. I know Chrysler is. Their projections are up. My little old dealership in Walled Lake projections are up. We're ready to go, and we're expecting a very good 2013.
Yeah, I've heard that from dealers, that 13 January, which is not traditionally a big month for them, apparently doing pretty well. Mike Wall, you found that at IHS Automotive?
Absolutely, yeah. January is actually shaping up pretty. It's usually a little slower month because it's
right
in the heart of the winter, but coming off of a very strong December, consumers were at this point now where the folks that needed to buy would come out and buy. Now we're pivoting to the folks that want to buy, and as we move down that road with, again, some of these new vehicles that are launching, that's going to pull more people into dealers as well. Consumer confidence, as Rick touched on, if we can make it through the debt ceiling side and some of this stuff on the sidelines.
Are we going to make it through the debt ceiling side?
And I think at the end of the day, I agree with Rick. I do think we'll be able to navigate that. Interestingly enough, when we went through the last debt ceiling debate in kind of the summer of 2011. It got pretty ugly. Consumer confidence took a hit, but vehicle sales stayed pretty resilient. And that's the thing in all this. Automotive, of all the industries, has proven some significant resiliency. We restructured ourselves as an industry, lowered the capacity, improved all of our utilization rates, automakers and suppliers alike. So I think that will help us kind of weather any buffeting as it relates to this debt ceiling side. We do need to get a resolution to it, though. There's no question.
Do need a resolution. That's the biggest problem, is the unknown.
Right.
Even if the decisions that are made are bad decisions, at least we know what they are, and we can do what we have to do to make our move. But this show is really selling cars, and that started with the gallery, which is something relatively new, Bob, where you have these ultra premium, fabulous luxury vehicles, and there are people putting money down on Ferraris and high-end Porsches and all of that. And I know of at least one sale right at this table because Donna needs a new car. So, Rick, you're lucky that the gallery is over at this point. And there are some fabulous cars out here. So that's one we can put down on the ledger already. But people do come to this show, see the cars in an environment that is spectacular and unlike any other environment for them, and then they do come to your shop and buy.
They do. They can narrow it down here. They can sit in 10 different cars and decide which one will work for them.
When is Education Day? And I know that ties right in with what PNC's DNA is all about.
That's the 23rd. It's next week. Which is Wednesday, I believe, and we're going to be having, not only middle grades and high schoolers, but also all the way down to pre-K again this year. We have Grover will be here as my esteemed colleague, so he's kind of a rock star. Last year was Cookie Monster, so my granddaughter Brooke is going to be excited about that. But it's a great day, and quite frankly, the issue that we're trying to get at is trying to get we talk about the DNA a lot, Paul, but we're trying to get into some of these children an excitement about engineering and science, and cars I think brings the kid out in everybody, and that's really what we're trying to do. And then we follow that up with the Detroit Grand Prix with the Penske organization with our fifth gear program. So we try to kind of continue that momentum all the way into the Grand Prix.
I don't want to throw any cold water on all of this, but something we haven't talked about in a while are the cafe requirements, the looming cafe requirements. What do you say at IHS about that?
That's something that all automakers are focused on, and Bob touched on the new Corvette. It's a test case right there. When you look at the Corvette and what they've done with that, with direct injection and the active fuel management, displacement on demand, these technologies, powertrain technologies, are hitting the market now. They've been hitting the market even through last year and going forward. So direct injection, EVs, electric vehicles, and hybrids have certainly, they take a lot of they're a headline grabber type of technology. The adoption rate has not been all that great. With gas prices at $3.20 or so, the cost benefit isn't always there for folks. But the beauty of this industry and the technologies that are involved, they don't have to just buy an EV or a hybrid. They can get some very fine fuel economy with some of the new powertrain technologies. The GM stand with the new Silverado Sierra, direct injection, active fuel management, some very stunning improvements on the fuel.
We didn't get a chance to really talk about this much thus far, and probably we will on the industry preview days ahead. But the key growth technologies would be, of course, fuel savings, but they're also jumping way beyond that now for these vehicles that drive themselves, basically. There are people saying that in the not-too-distant future, that's what they're going to be able to create. This is technology that's there now. Although, from a liability standpoint, I don't see a car manufacturer pretending to say you don't need a driver there. You don't want to walk away from that, and the liability factor, I can't even imagine what it might be like. But would that be one of the key growth technologies in automotive for the next 5 to 10 years?
Absolutely. As the safety technologies that are involved, Toyota is a great example of that. What the automakers are doing, these autonomous cars, semi-autonomous cars, what they afford the automaker to do is to launch, use that as a springboard and mainstream a lot of these different technologies. So active cruise control, lane departure warning, blind spot detection, all of these advancements are rapidly improving, and they're being mainstreamed into your bread and butter vehicles. So it's a great opportunity for the customers to go out there and get some really good safety feature content, and the automakers obviously to benefit from spreading out amongst millions of vehicles.
The outlook for the suppliers, given the current state of the industry, I would presume it's better than it's been in a long while.
It's definitely been much better. As you see volumes coming up like this, suppliers are now faced with the task of, okay, how do we keep up with all the volume? And that's the challenge right now more than anything, is just hiring more people, bringing on some new equipment, and really just kind of keeping your head above water. But they're doing very well, and they're much more profitable now.
Regional President Ric DeVore with us, PNC Roundtable, along with Mike Wall, Director Automotive Analysis at IHS Automotive. Bob Shuman is Vice Chairman of the 2013 North American International Auto Show, President of Shuman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Walled Lake, a great family business, a third-generation dealer. taking a bit of a different path in the beginning. He got his accounting degree at Michigan State University, his law degree at University of Michigan, and then after years of practicing the law, he saw the light and came into the family business, came into an honest business, and we're really happy that he did. With all of that aside, Charity Preview is such a wonderful event, raising millions of dollars for children's charities throughout our area. How's that looking? I know somebody listening to this might be listening after the Charity Preview has already happened. We understand that. But I know that ticket sales were up going into the Charity Preview.
Ticket sales were up. Last year we got to $3 million. This year we're going to be close to $4 million.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding? $1 million more?
So buy some more tickets, Paul.
Wow.
We're going to be close.
That's astounding. That is the world's biggest single night black tie fundraiser charity anywhere.
Yeah.
Period. That's astounding. I can't believe you even said that. Close to $4 million.
I hope I'm right.
That's astounding. Well, you must be pretty confident.
Well, I'm always confident.
Well, that's right. I forgot. He did get a law degree.
That's right.
From the University of Michigan. Okay. Well, with that thought
go blue.
In mind, go blue is. Yeah, I did get a law degree, but I like Michigan too. But we love Michigan State at WJR as the voice of the Spartans as well. And Ric, with all this enthusiasm, all these good things, with what you're doing with the kids and the education day and everything else, you got to feel good about everything that's happening in our area right now.
No, we're
on a roll.
We are, and it's a good roll, and I think sometimes people accentuate the negative in the city, and I'm not saying there's not challenges here, but this is a good time to show off some of the positives that have happened in this region in the last 36, 48 months. So we're excited.
And we're sensing that. We're feeling that around at this show. You did feel that or will feel that and see that when you come around. It's the investment that's been made, the people who come in. I heard this earlier from our morning show, from Bill Ford, from Sergio, from Dan Ackerson, that when they brought in their employees to show them what they've done, the enthusiasm, excitement, and pride from those employees is palpable. It's very real, and it means a lot to our community. We have Ric DeVore with us, and this is your program. I'm happy to be a co-host with you, but I want some of your observations from what you've seen around this great 2013 North American International Auto Show.
Well, I think the issue, I think you've all hit on it, is just the quality of the vehicles, the fact that there's foreign manufacturers launching for the first time here, what a feather in our cap that is. And if you look at just the quality of the vehicles vis-a-vis a few years ago, it's really noticeably changed. It's kind of interesting, Paul, you and I have talked about this before, but isn't it interesting that North America is carrying Europe and Asia? And it wasn't that distant past that we were kind of a drag on Europe and Asia. And, our outlook for Europe is actually not as pessimistic as it was 6 to 8 months ago.
Really?
It's not bright, but it's better. Our friends across the river, we see GDP there maybe 1.8, 1.9, less than the U.S., Mexico in the mid-twos. So North America is relatively doing well. I kind of laugh when people say, gee, China's down to 6, only almost 3 times ours, but gee, that's a downer, right? But the one thing I wanted to touch upon, and I need Mike's counsel here, is what's happening in Japan. In Japan, there's a new head of the central bank, and it's kind of a 180. And so there could be some interesting dynamics on the yen.
Share some of your expertise on that.
Yeah, what we're seeing right now, the big pressure in Japan has really been the currency exchange with the yen. The yen strengthened pretty significantly, and it's been negatively impacting many manufacturers in Japan, especially those that export, of course. So look at Honda, Toyota, Nissan, and so forth. And now it's actually benefited us here in North America because they've been bringing more and more capacity into the North American market. Part of that was due to hedge some of that currency exposure, also to build closer to where you sell your vehicles. So the fact that the central bank may be changing its position and start pushing maybe a weakening of the yen can have some ramifications. I don't think it's going to impact us in North America in terms of hurting us from a capacity perspective because I think those plans are pretty well established. It may give the Japanese automakers maybe a little more flexibility and things like incentives and give them a little more potential to improve profitability with some of that domestic operations. But it's a key change. It's a fundamental change in kind of how they're looking at the currency exchange side of the equation.
And it seems like it hasn't gotten a lot of press, if you will.
And you know what? I hate to say this, but while doing the morning show from this auto show, and Carlos Goen was on, who is the CEO of that Nissan-Renault Alliance, we were out of time, and one of his people pushed a thing in front of me saying, "Ask about the yen." Well, I didn't have time. Yeah. I had a yen to do it, but I didn't have the time to do it. And there it is. It isn't talked about a lot because there's so many other things that we talk about, but it's pretty doggone significant.
It is. Absolutely.
So if we could get Europe and Japan and these United States all doing well, what would we do with ourselves? We wouldn't know what to do with ourselves. We'd have to pinch ourselves. But you're willing to try, aren't you, Bob?
I just say sell more cars. That's all I ever say.
Yes, you would. And you've got the best cars ever to sell. You got to feel great about your Ram truck being truck of the year. That's a big deal. That got a lot of people's attention. By the way, it was not only the North American International Auto Show's truck of the year, it was Motor Trend's truck of the year as well. They went in different directions with the car of the year. Of course, here it was the Cadillac ATS. They had one of the electric cars, Tesla, one of the Teslas as far as I recall. But how about that truck?
Best-in-class gas mileage. It's got vents inside that close to keep the air from blowing into the engine, so when it gets better gas mileage. It's got everything. It's got the best ride. It's got the best gas mileage. We're selling them.
Yeah, well, good for you.
And how about the F-350 being able to tow 30,000 pounds? Or the Ram 3500.
Yeah, you got his attention on that.
Sorry about that.
F-350. What are you talking about?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Is that
a new company?
Is that a truck? Well, we're in the right stand for all of that. We're surrounded by all these fabulous vehicles, and we have to say, let's face it, Rick, they're all better than they've ever been. There's no question about that.
And then I heard you out this morning talking about the interior of the Jeep, and that's what I'm in the market for, is another SUV. And so I'm going to, after we're done taping, I'm going to go take a look at it.
And that's the beauty of the show. You come in, you sit down, you feel comfortable, you don't feel pressured, and you just go from one vehicle to the next. If you have any thoughts or questions about the vehicles, you can go see them and touch them yourself. But there are also presenters here who are as well or best versed as they've ever been. And the key here is they've really keyed in on, yes, they're attractive people, but they also know the vehicles. And in the past, we remember in the old days where they would stand there and recite a script. It was almost as if you interrupted them, they'd have to start the script over and do it. Now they actually are given the freedom to go to whatever they need to talk about based on whoever's standing there or asking questions. And that never used to happen because car companies were very careful to control every word about their vehicle. But now they have some experts here, presenters, if you will, product specialists, who can answer questions. So it's a wonderful, and they're not making a car sale. I mean, hopefully they're understanding that it's good for them to help sell cars, but they're in a unique position to answer questions and talk about the different vehicles that they're representing. And in the end, as they say, an educated consumer is a good consumer. Isn't that Mr. Sims from the clothing guy that says
Absolutely.
that? Yeah, well, it works for cars and for everything else as well. And this is a great place to come and be educated about these vehicles.
Well, it is. And, the selling process is changing. We can't put pressure on people anymore. They just will get up and walk out. You can't do that at your dealership. They want that Apple experience where you come in, touch the product, ask questions about the product, and there's no pressure.
I might argue with you about the Apple experience a little bit, but
the good Apple experience.
When you go to Apple, there's no question you're not alone. Yeah. There are a lot of people there, and they're doing what they're doing. But, the fun thing about Apple is you ask them about a PC, and the geniuses, the people that are on top of everything, you ask about a PC, and they go completely blank-faced and dumb. I have no idea. I have no idea what a PC will do. I'm sorry, I just don't know. And I go, come on, I've got Apple and I've got PC. I need to bring them together. What I go, well, we only really know about Apple products. Yeah, I'm not going to get all this off my chest. See this?
I'm sorry I brought it up.
See the iPad Mini?
Yeah.
You'd think you could use one of the cords that you needed for the 15 other Apple products you have. Of course not. got to get a new cord. Okay, am I wrong about this? Who put me on this? I didn't want to get on the soapbox here, but somebody brought it up. It wasn't me.
Note to self: don't bring up Apple again.
No apples.
No, they got apples all over the place, falling right from the trees here. It's great to be able to have fun and be relaxed and to joke because we haven't been able to do that in this building at this auto show very much. And we've seen the turnaround. Last year was kind of the turnaround, but nobody was absolutely sure. Now there's great confidence, not cockiness, but confidence. And you tell me from your statistics, Mike, and what you folks there know at IHS, that it's well-grounded and well-founded.
Oh, it absolutely is. When you look at, automotive is a cyclical, we all know this, cyclical industry. And we went through one of the worst downturns that automotive industry has gone through in generations. And now we're on the cyclical upswing. I mean, we've got the average vehicle age is running at about 11 years. We've got an old fleet out there. Again, we're pivoting from the need to buy to want to buy. And it's bolstered by, again, very strong product. I mean, we're in the middle of some of the strongest product right here. And, as that market starts to swing back, which we've already, again, we had a pretty good year last year. I'd say quite good coming off of 2011. But we're looking for more of the same going into 2013. So very strong.
What do you guys think? And I'll start with you, Bob. You're the car guy, but we're all kind of car guys. But Bob Shuman, Vice Chairman of the 2013 North American International Auto Show, and everything he looks at today, he is looking at with eyes that will also have to be looking at this tomorrow and next year when he will, I'm certain, make it even better because that's what they do year after year. But here we are surrounded by all of these vehicles. In your opinion, Bob, which of the automakers are doing, the best job with regard to the product introductions and capturing consumer interest and then hopefully market share? I know that you feel that Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, that's a given. I understand. Then you happen to be right. But what else do you see? What else jumps out at you? Or can you not answer that question?
Chrysler, no. I got to go back to the Corvette. I love the Corvette. I love the Mercedes.
Have you ever had a
vehicles.
Corvette?
I don't know that I've ever even sat in a Corvette.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of it's a secret. There's so many secrets I tell you. At times I shouldn't tell you. But
it's a family secret, I guess, because it's a family business. I
thought the Audis looked pretty good. I like the German manufacturers' cars. If I hit at the casino, that's where I would go. If I had, there was a rumor that someone hit at the casino at the gallery.
$800,000 the night of the gallery, and though that person had not earlier been invited to come upstairs to the gallery and see those cars, interestingly enough, what $800,000 in winnings on the spot does, somehow he made his way up to the gallery and bought a car.
I always wondered, we talk about the selling cycle.
That was a short selling
the steps
cycle.
To the sale, and then there's the buyer remorse time. I wonder about that one.
Well, only if he woke up and found that he had spent all of his $800,000, he might then have a bit of a problem, especially when he gets home.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hit $800,000. Oh, good, we can pay off our mortgage. He said, no, I got a couple of great cars, though. I wouldn't want to be in that household at the time. What have you seen, Mike Wall, that you feel is outstanding or sticks out in your mind as the folks doing a great job?
Yeah, I'd be remiss not to mention Chrysler. I mean, with the Ram, the redesigned Grand Cherokee, that was unveiled yesterday. It was phenomenal looking. And the Chrysler Renaissance, even through last year, has just been phenomenal along those lines. As Bob mentioned, the German automakers, it's a testament to this show, the amount of luxury unveils we've had. We've got the year of the truck with some of the GM trucks and the Ram, and you've got the Vet, which is a showstopper. But then the sheer amount of luxury, whether it be the MKC for Ford, the E-Class again, the Infiniti Q50. I mean, some of these phenomenal luxury offerings that we're getting unveiling right here in downtown Detroit. I mean, it's beautiful.
And did you pick out Donna's car yet or not?
Not yet. No.
We've been on the air half an hour. I figured it was.
Well, last year I had a world-class educated personal tour guide, Mike Wall, and
nice.
And that was pretty nice.
I bet that can be arranged again this year. I'm just thinking.
I'm always happy to spend your money.
It's part of our contract or not, but that was really, because I didn't really realize, different chassis and what's on what, and he's just a great encyclopedia of information. So maybe we'll do that again this year. But I would agree with what was said. The Corvette is obviously exciting, and the large Audi sedans I have a thing for, I must admit. But I still think the Ford Fusion is a great vehicle, and I'm excited about seeing what the Jeep has.
I get to drive a lot of cars.
Yes, you do.
With what I do, and I never take for granted what I do. And you get into that Audi A8, for example. It's an incredible car. And then you get into the Cadillac ATS or XTS. I don't know which one would be the right comparison. Probably XTS would be the right comparison. And you say, this is an incredible car, but the Audi, just a little something more. But then you look at the price, it's $20,000 more. It should be a little something more. I mean, that's the reality here. Dollars and cents do make a difference.
It certainly makes a difference, absolutely.
And that's part of the key with what I think Ford is trying to do with Lincoln. And good timing with the movie, I thought. I think that they want to have a luxury vehicle, but not like the old luxury vehicles that they got rid of that cost a lot more money, but a luxury vehicle that people can afford, much like they are doing that certainly with the Cadillac. Chrysler's doing it with the 300 is just a beautiful luxury car. And boy, you put the, what is it, SRT? Oh, man, SRT on a 300, I suspect people never come back. They get that car, and they start driving, and they say, hi, honey, I'm in St. Louis. Because that's just a spectacular vehicle with all the right stuff.
That's what my dad drives. 86 years old. He drives an SRT8 with 470 horsepower and 6 on the floor.
Do you think that's a good idea? I don't know. My mother's 86, and I'm not putting my mother in an SRT anything.
He can drive any car he wants.
Well, of course he can, but there comes we're not going to solve this here, but should he? That's not for us to say. You're right. You do tell us sometimes more than you should. Dad at 86 in an SRT. Yikes! Well, God bless him. God, don't let him hear this program, okay? Why don't you wrap us up here, Rick, in an overall view of what's happening, and we start this new year off with our PNC Roundtable at really arguably the most important place we could start the new year off, at the 2013 North American International Auto Show.
No, it absolutely is, and this is our 5th anniversary, Paul, this year. And,
it is?
So we'll be doing kind of a 5-year celebration. Maybe we'll go around and have like a rocking chair tour or something like that. I don't know.
That's fabulous. We've been doing this for 5 years.
It's pretty amazing. And,
did you get a different account executive other than Link Bessert, or are you going to stick with him?
I think we're sticking with him, but he told me some kind of price break we get for 5 years. Not sure Tom O'Brien's dialed into that yet.
I think what he's talking about is a price increase after 5 years. And then the mayor, Sean, he's been here for all along as well.
Yeah, he's actually been at it longer than I have. And but we're really excited about this, doing this for 5 years, and we got a number of good shows lined up. And this is, like you said, just a great way to kick off our 5th anniversary with you. And you're such a great co-host. And I heard you this morning with Alan, and I would echo what his sentiments are. You really carry the torch for this region in just a great way.
Well, I'm happy to help out. Couldn't do it without you guys because, frankly, you guys pay the bills. And we're happy about that and our involvement for WJR in the community, fueled by people like PNC and the PNC Roundtable. And we thank Mike Wall for being back with us, the Director, Automotive Analyst and Analysis at IHS Automotive. We all depend on you, Michael, and your team at IHS.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for Bob Shuman, Vice Chairman of the 2013 North American International Auto Show, and, of course, President of Shuman Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Walled Lake, where you can find the marks from the wheels spinning from Dad's SRT leaving the driveway. We thank you for the good work you've done as Vice Chair, and next time we talk, you'll probably be Chair.
That's exciting.
For the 2014 North American International Auto Show. And let's make a date to be right here again, maybe 1 year from today, and talk about it.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bob.
Rick. Thank you all for tuning in, either at 760 on the AM dial or WJR.com for our PNC Roundtable. Regards, Paul W. Smith.